coming to Canada to study a master in environment has been one of the most defining moments in my life. I left my comfort zone to experience a new culture, new routines, a new language. I still remember my first day here at Royal Roads. It was like 9 a.m. at the Grand Quarter Deck, and I was full of excitement, fear, nervous, and curiosity. We were all surrounded by classmates from Africa, Asia, and Latin America. We all spoke the same language, English, but I realized how different we were. So, since I was little, I believed that the world looked like the only one I knew, Colombia. I thought that um, only strong people could live in abroad because this mission to immigrate here meant breaking your roots, losing your traditions and your routines. So for the first 14 months here in Victoria, to be honest, I was just really surviving. I was not really living, and everything felt foreign, disconnected, and distant. Then one summer day, everything changed. I got sick here in Victoria, and I had to undergo emergency surgery in less than 12 hours. I was only with my partner by my side, and my biggest fear came true. I felt alone and trying to be strong. So at that moment, I stopped and asked myself, how could I navigate these challenges in a different way? What if instead of resisting, I start to embrace even the most difficult moments? So those questions also eventually became part of my research thesis. When I began researching how to integrate nature into city planning, I knew it would be tough. How could I connect nature within an impervious urban landscape I barely knew using a software that it was really complex and I was still learning? So at first, I thought that making a city sustainable or more sustainable meant creating something big. But again, I stopped and asked myself, how could I navigate these academic challenges in a different way? That's when I realized that sustainability is deeply connected with resilience. And resilience, in the end, is not about the strength, it's not about being hard or being strong. It's about the ability to adapt to a new environment, to new academic challenges. So, Charles Darwin said, small changes allow a species to survive. And the ability to adapt is what keeps life alive. That's true. So I start to see that small changes and small shifts and connections as well were guiding me toward the answers I needed and were helping me to adapt to this new environment. So I remember that Professor Bill told us something that stayed with me. Systems can be complex as life, but our mission is to change our lens and make them more simple and flexible as possible. So, how do we build resilience? We can start but by changing how we see the world, by noticing those patterns that shape our thinking. So, what if we didn't come here just to study in a classroom? What if we came here to relearn how to connect with others, how to connect with nature, and to discover that we can grow even within the most difficult situations. Cities are not different. Urban landscapes can stay connected with nature by linking large green areas with small ones through pathways and corridors. So we can create these huge networks as well as building resilience, the same as we are doing. So that's how life works too. Every connection matters. Through every challenge, we adapt. Through every obstacle, we grow. We wave resilience one experience at a time. We know that not all paths are easy, but if we learn to embrace them, the good and the hard ones, we will move closer to who we want, who we are meant to become. As Jean Paul Sartre said, a man is nothing else but what he came to become. So from that learning and that truth, I've learned that embrace the difficult moments and thinking in small changes and change how we connect with others and the environment, we can spark a ripple of transformation to become more resilient individuals, more resilient communities, and more resilient cities. Thank you so much for your time.